When our protagonist, Kyuya, came to consciousness, he found himself in a deserted place. Suddenly, a woman appeared behind her, claiming to have been waiting for the hero for a long time. She extends her hand and prompts him to eliminate her. This was the so-called fated meeting, and hence a tale of a unique and peerless reincarnated hero who failed to save the world begin. Now walking to a new place, Kyuya is worried if he looks weird. Everyone here is new, probably, so he does not want to stand out too much. Something wriggles in his bag and a cat manages to get her head out of the bag. Excited to see the newbie heroes, Kyuya tells off the cat named Felice, as he had told her to not come out. Felice retaliates by saying that it is boring inside the bag. Kuju forces her inside the bag, worrying about what people would think he is a weirdo. Even Felice says that he cares too much for what people would think of him, like some introvert. However, Kyuya says that he cannot help it, not when it has been so long since he talked to anyone except Felice. Felice thinks that he is exaggerating, when it has been only 3 years, in the real world that is. Kyuya orders her to stay put, but Felice says that she is a cat and cannot understand him and keeps dangling from the bag. She even manages to run away, but Kyuya catches her. A girl behind them notices the cat and points at them with a shout. She walks to them and keeps talking excitedly about the cuteness of the cat. Kyuya thinks that they have been caught way too fast and asks the girl if she is a returnee as well. The girl affirms and introduces herself as a freshman named Imari Komeri. She proceeds to take out her invitation but seems to have misplaced it, so she makes a number of moves in an attempt to find it. Kyuya tells her to calm down while thinking that she is really restless. The girl finally finds the invitation and hands it out. Kyuya looks at the invitation with some seriousness and notes that she received the same invitation from this academy. The bell rings behind them, so the girl hurries away since the entrance ceremony is about to start. Felice finds the girl interesting and smiles at Kyuya particularly. He warns her to not let her guard down because if they find out who she is, it is the end for the both of them. Felice smirks and affirms. At the entrance ceremony, the academy is introduced firstly to the new students. Eugratia Academy is an educational institution established jointly by the goddess and the Japanese government. A bridge, so to speak, between the government and the goddess. Kyuya notices the prime minister and some other ministers present in the ceremony and also tells Felice about it. He is impressed by the Hero Academy, but Felice tells him to not act like a fool and look around him. Kyuya notices that everyone is busy doing their own stuff without taking any interest in the ceremony. They are all acting like this because all of them are the heroes who have saved the many other worlds that exist and have returned back, so the government is very proud of them. Felice kindly elaborates that everyone in here is the kind of people who can bring the king of a country to his knees. To them, the government is like a stone on the side of the road. Just then, a girl steps on the stage and asks the prime minister to finish his speech off because no one is listening anyway. The prime minister wipes the sweat off his face and agrees. So the girl takes charge and introduces herself as Minaho Kuzuva. She is an executive member of this academy and takes it upon her to explain about the school herself. She explains that since a lot of big shots arrived here, everyone can pretty much guess what this facility is all about. This is a quarantine facility for all of them. Each of them is a hero capable of saving another world, so when they consider the dangers, each one of them is like a ticking nuclear bomb. A girl or a boy in mid-puberty with such powers no less, if something happens and they snap, everyone would be in trouble. So as a country, they cannot just let them run wild, but they cannot forcibly lock them up in here as well. There are many goddesses in this academy, and the students can return to their daily usual lives on the condition that their memories and abilities are sealed. But there have been students who did not like that and wanted to keep the powers they had gained. The academy understands how they feel, so they want to make a deal with them. She assures them that it is not a dangerous experiment or anything. To explain things better, she plans on using movies as an analogy, but a student interrupts and tells her to keep it brief. Minaho apologizes and smirks as she snaps her fingers. Magic circles appear on the ceiling and the demons and monsters start emerging from them. The students shriek, but Felice finds it interesting. The students start running amok after the arrival of the monsters. Kyuya's first thought is to evacuate everyone. On the other hand, some of the students unleash their powers to combat the monsters excitedly. They battle start, and the heroes of different worlds find it no effort to defeat the monsters. Kyuya stands in the ashes of the monsters and is impressed by the returners' powers. Minaho steps down from the stage and compliments everyone on their hard work. It is obvious that she was testing them, but when asked about it, she says that she only provided them with the toys for them to enjoy. It has been a while since the heroes used their strength to eliminate someone, so it must have felt good for the heroes. She tells them that this is the deal offered by the academy as well as the demand. They want the heroes to save the world once again. This world is branched off from a large tree called the World Tree, and it bears countless other worlds' fruits. Many of those worlds are in trouble because they are being eaten by demons. The academy needs heroes to go out there and exterminate those pests. Some of the heroes may think that they do not care about the other worlds, but in the past, there was a world that was destroyed by a demon lord. That demon lord was so powerful and vicious that they even devastated other worlds. By the time the goddesses realized what was happening, the demon lord already swallowed thousands of the worlds. In the end, they sealed the demon lord away with their world. The lost demon lord of the lost world, that is what they are called. Everyone is listening to this information seriously. Minaho continues and says that it is now their job to go around and nip such a bad thing in the bud before it grows up. She even says to think of them as an agency that dispatches heroes. This is all she has to say, and now is the time to measure their ability. She then looks at the paper in her hand and announces the names of some of them, including Komeri and Kyoya, and tells them to follow her. The rest of the heroes are to follow the staff members and do their best at the measurement of ability. Fellis teases Kyoya about what could have done, but he says that he only attended the ceremony and nothing else. They all gather at another hall, and Minaho announces that they do not have to take the ability measurement test and tells them to go back to their dormitories. The students are confused by it, but she kindly explains and shows a mark on her forearm. The mark is a savior's crest that is given by the goddess as a proof of saving the world. But none of the 13 students have this mark. Either they did not defeat the demon lord and were deported, or they were summoned along with several others, but they alone did not fight. Whatever the reason, Hei failed. Minaho calls them the dropout heroes, the lowest of the low, the losers. She assures them that if they work hard, they would be promoted, and proceeds to leave. However, one student calls out to her rather disrespectfully and asks if she is looking down on them. Minaho seems to remember that he is called Takeru and tells him that it is all nice to be brash and vigorous, but he should have just used this brashness to face off the demon lord properly. This comment obviously angers Takeru, and he steps towards Minaho, only to be stopped by Komeri as she tells him to not fight. However, as brash as he is, he pushes Komeri on the ground. Kyoya immediately goes to her and asks if she is alright. Takeru asks Kyoya if he is also going to stop him as well. Kyoya tells him it is not right to be so violent. Takeru shouts at him like a bear and tells him to stay out of this. He then turned towards Minaho and claims that he had much better than these trashes. The world he was summoned to was Stage V, and he was so close to clear it, but he had been just a bit careless back then. He even professes that he is the best when it comes to power and unleashes his power to prove his point. Kyoya and the others are shocked to see that Takeru summoned the Hellfire magic in a place like this. However, Minaho, being a senior, remains unbothered and warns him to stop with the flashy magic. But Takeru does not listen and proceeds to attack her. Kyoya tries to stop him, and just then, the magic circle is cut in half by a girl. She then holds her sword against Takeru's neck and says that he gets a point deduction for the violation of a rule. The girl is named Rie, who gets told by Minaho that they have not been even grouped yet, so there is no need to deduct the points yet. Rie sheaths her sword and says that Minaho is too lenient. Minaho states that this is what Takeru's power amount to, and the only thing that matters is that he failed to save a world, so any excuse is meaningless. Saying this, Minaho takes her leave and tells them to think of some funny greeting for tomorrow's class. Takeru curses behind her, but Kyoya ponders on the fact that he is a dropout hero who failed to defeat the demon lord and thinks that this is not far away from the reality. On the other hand, Rie and Minaho are walking together in the hallways. Minaho compliments Rie on her perfect timing, but Rie knows that Minaho stirred them knowing it would end up like this. However, Minaho says in her defense that it is better to put the likes of them in their place through force. Speaking of power, there is one that bothers Rie. She had a feeling that the magic circle was already hollow when she cut it through. Minaho also noticed that the magic circle had already been neutralized. Moreover, only the fire power had been neatly erased, and they do not even know who did it. Rie is surprised that Minaho does not know even with her eyes, but the students from before do not seem to have that kind of powers. Minaho explains that her eyes cannot see past the things that are masked by an even stronger power. She says that strong kids are always welcomed, as long as they are on their side. Kyoya has been allotted the daffodil room number 107. He enters the room and finds it quite nice, even if it is worlds apart as compared to the normal hero's dorm. But he feels more at home in this kind of room, so all is well. Phyllis also comes out of the bag and finds the academy interesting. She tells Kyoya that he had been a little too obvious back there. Kyoya sits on the bed and agrees. He was the one to neutralize the firepower, and those in the executive committee probably noticed it. Kyoya admits that he had been a little impatient. Fellis says that he still lacks training and even teases him that it cannot be helped since he is the dropout hero. However, Kyoya remains serious and apologies for bringing her to this kind of place. It is like an enemy stronghold to Fellis, and things were not meant to go like this. He thought if they returned to his original world, a peaceful life awaited them. That is what he believed. Fellis teases him even more and says in a monotone that if she is caught, that is worse than death. But she is not worried, since Kyoya would protect her. He is determined to do so, and Fellis is finally content to get a manly reply from him for once. Not long ago, he was a little boy. Kyoya is not happy to hear that and tells her to cut it out. Fellis is even more enjoying now that he is sulking and transforms into her human, the original form. However, she is not wearing anything, making Kyoya flustered. He thought she did not regain her strength enough to transform yet. However, Fellis is too powerful to be bothered by it. Even if she regains a tiny bit of her strength, it is not hard for her to transform. But she cannot as magic or maintain this form for long yet. She then invites him to caress her body like always, but Kyoya spreads the sheet over her and clarifies that he only does so when she is in her cat form. Fellis teases him some more for blushing so easily and tells him to not get so worked up. She is grateful to him because her like was supposed to be abandoned in that world forever. But thanks to him, she can see the new day, so there is no need to worry. Kiwi remains silent, so he asks if A thinks she is following him unwillingly, she who they feared as the lost demon lord. If she did not like him, she would have eaten him long time ago. Kyoya finally smiles and agrees. Now looking at the twilight is nostalgic, as it reminds them of the time when they first met. In that world of eternal twilight, Kyoya was lying down like that too. Kyoya also remembers, as he seems to be lost in the memory of that place. It was only 3 years in the real world, but in that world, it was 30,000 years ago. He got summoned to a desolated world, and there he met her. He fought her, so he remembers the day. He had his world help against her, as she lay under her. Both of them looked just so much sad. Their first interaction was Felice inviting him to eliminate her. Kyoya looked at her in surprise, not knowing who she was and where this was. Felice noticed his confusion and commented that he probably does not even know what this place is. She gave him a hand to help him get up and told him to have the conversation while they walk, as they gaze at this lost world. Kyoya asked who she was, and she told him that she is called Feriolus Fionishir, but he can call her Felice. She told him that this place was another world of sorts, a different one from his world. The goddesses called this place the Lost World. Kyoya says that it is a pretty terrible name, and Felice laughs at the comment. She continues to tell him that this is a world where everything has come to an end and only this wasteland remains. He does not understand why did it end up like this. Felice tells him that she was the one to destroy it. Men, beasts, demons, and everything that lives. Because she is called the Demon Lord. This information sends a shudder down his spine, but he asks anyways what does she wants with someone like him. Her answer remains the same as before, that she summoned him to eliminate her. She had liked to do the deed herself, but her roots constrained her to do that, so she cannot destroy herself, she says nonchalantly. Kyoya asks about the roots she mentioned, so she demonstrates it by bringing his out. It can be called the soul or the spiritual core, or the root that defines everyone's existence. Her soul particularly was artificially made to be a demon lord. Therefore, there are many restrictions, and not being able to take her own life is one of them. That is why she needs his help, but Kyoya tells her that he cannot fight. She laughs and tells him to relax because she's so going to personally train her so that he can perform that task. Kyoya finds her so nonchalant about her own life. As they were talking, they have reached a stone door. Kyoya thinks that it is a dead end, but Felice takes out a dark key and inserts it into the door. The door shines brightly, and Kyoya cannot help but squint his eyes. Felice welcomes him to her castle, and the two of them enter. Kyoya is amazed to see the riches inside that are almost filling the whole area. This is the Hall of Man treasures called the Antisarium. It is her treasury. There are all the treasures of the 3,000 worlds that she destroyed, so it has almost everything that Kyoya might need, that she would use to train him so that he can eliminate her for good. She then starts taking out various treasures for him to try, that Kyoya finds crude. Kyoya starts wandering to see just how wide this place is and notices something. There is an ash-black sword lying among the treasures. Compared to the treasures around it, it looks rather plain and hence attracts the attention. Kyoya is about to touch it, but Felice stops him. She tells him that this sword is a living demonic sword from the ancient branch of Calamity Levanquin. It is a crystallization of evil that devours the soul itself. Felice has only used it 3 times herself. The way that Kyoya is right now, a slight touch can take his life. Kyoya gulps at the implications, but Felice assures him that he would be able to hold to in 300,000 years. He is even more surprised to hear the time frame. Felice states that even the time itself is dead here, and is only the fraction of 10,000 as compared to his world. She assures him that she would train him to the fullest, even if he passes away. She would bring him back to life. Even if he went insane, she would bring him back to his senses, so everything will be fine. Kyoya knows that this does not sound fine at all, but is too scared to voice his opinions. Felice looks sad when she says that despite having so much time, it is her who does not have much time left. She then resumes to her older self and announces a welcome part for Kyoya. And so his life in another world began. He wondered what kind of harsh training awaited him and was worried whether he would be able to keep up with the training or not. Turns out it was needless to worry because his first task was to walk on the white line without steering off of it. Another example is eating food with his left hand, that he found quite hard, or handling things without using his pinky finger. All this was a slight deviance from his normal life, but according to Felice, humans do not really move their bodies in a way they want it. He first needs to build up his body to redirect 100% of his will back into his body. She is going to make sure he knows how to use his body properly. So in 50 years, his body gradually began to move as he imagined it, and he slowly started to do more strenuous activities such as running and swinging. In 100 years, his body was naturally conditioned, but the goal was not to train it, but to control his body exactly as he imagined it to be. In 1,000 years, once his body was trained to a certain degree, the next step was to practice magic. However, it was extremely difficult to develop the magic power needed to use magic. It took another 10,000 years before he was able to use magic properly. In 2,000 years, finally he was able to fight using both magic and swordsmanship. He spent my days fighting with the demons created by Felice. And so his days of training intensified, but in this lost world, there is no longer any form of entertainment. His only source of entertainment was talking with Felice. After an intense day of training, she would excitedly ask him to tell her about the stories of manga from his world. Felice was very eager to listen to his story, about his favorite manga, about things back home, about school. It was just stories about his boring life with no particular drama. Even with such boring stories, Phyllis always listened to it happily. One particular story she likes was about a black cat he used to keep in his home. Kyoya told him that cat never listened to him at all. It was like a queen who took it for granted the care it was given. It had a rough attitude and kept making a mess all over the room. But even so, it was his precious family. Phyllis comments that a cat is such a bundle of miracles, to think that such a small creatures will always be with you. Kyoya observes her for a bit and says that Phyllis is also kind of like a cat. She blushes on the implication that this could mean she is like a family to him or that he thinks she is cute. Kyoya also blushes but says that he meant to only say that the air of greatness around the both of them is the same. Phyllis finds it confusing because she is a demon lord and is actually great. After shouting a bit, the two of them turn their faces away. Kyoya notices a pile in the corner of skulls and bones. He glances at Phyllis and remembers her saying that she was the one who destroyed the worlds. The woman he sees right in front of him is right now looks like an ordinary girl, and yet she is capable of such a thing. His curiosity gets the better of him and he asks the reason for her to destroy those worlds. She looks at him horrified but answers anyway. She states that the answer is simple, because she was made like this, to be a world-destroying demon lord. The one speaking to him right now is like a glitch that just happened to pop up after it had done its job. By the time she attains self-awareness, everything was already destroyed. Kyoya shouts at the idea that all this was not her fault at her but lies with the one that made her. Phyllis asks him if that is true. With all the corpses buried in the wastelands and the piles of bones, he thinks she is still innocent. Kyoya gets up but does not know how to challenge her words. He asks if she wants to end her life to atone for her sins. Phyllis asks if she looks that nice to him. She is a demon lord, so even if she attains self-awareness, her nature remains the same. She says that the pain and the joys of others is irrelevant to her as she gulps down the drink straight from the bottle. Kyoya points that she is lying and Phyllis has a distant expression after hearing that. She says that he is too kind if he thinks that. She can no longer tell if she is lying or telling the truth herself. The only thing she knows for sure is that she is tired of this eternal prison. Kyoya looks sad after hearing that, but Phyllis only sighs and gets up, as tomorrow is a combat training and Kyoya should rest before it. Phyllis leaves and Kyoya could not say anything anymore. He does not know how long she has been alone in this wasteland, so he does not know what to say to her. And he is sure there is nothing that he can say to make her feel better, but there is something he thought about strongly. If he could free her from the fate of the demon lord who lives for destruction, maybe she would be able to live a normal life like the one she longed for, like in his stories. Together with her favorite cat, reading her favorite manga, while drinking her favorite drink. He wonders if he can avoid taking her life as she wishes. Aide wonders if he can be together with her. And then, around 30,000 years later, it is the inevitable time. Kyoya asks if they really have to do this. Phyllis simply smiles and asks him to take a walk with her. She is sure that Kyoya has guessed that she is not entirely broken free from her roots. Her destructive drive as a demon lord still binds her soul. This temporary glitch of hers will not last longer anymore, and once she is swallowed by her destructive drive, she would start destroying everything again, including Kyoya. However, he says that he does not mind that, but Phyllis thinks that he is too kind. He should know that she would not allow him to do that. There is no reason to hesitate. For the sake of the world, he must show the results of his training and defeat the evil demon lord. Or has he developed feelings for this demon lord, she asks. Kyoya replies that he has, and Phyllis remains silent for a while. She then turns towards him and says that the 30,000 years that she spent with him have been a source of great happiness for her. Anyone would have been just fine to eliminate her. She used a random summoning spell, then Kyoya just happened to get summoned here. He just happened to endure her training, and he just happened to spend his time together with her. She thanks him for his time because she is glad that it would be him to take her life. Kyoya feels something take over him, and he takes out his sword, while Phyllis on the other hand welcomes the hero, now in her full demonic form. Kyoya is standing in front of her as she flies in the sky and prompts him to take her life. He notices that her eyes have changed to a black color, indicating the demon lord's destructive impulse that binds her. Both charge towards each other, and Kyoya soon notices that she is not the Phyllis he knows. She is grabbing him from the head, but he manages to summon magic to struck her away. The Phyllis he knew had a quiet, a warm smile on her face, much different than the power and destruction crazed expression on her face right now. She taught him swordsmanship, offensive magic, defensive magic, restorative magic, and all that for the sake of taking her own life. But he wants her to live, because she also gave him something that he never had in his life before, the joy of spending time alone with someone for a long time. All he has ever done is give up and doing whatever she told him to do to grant her wish for 30,000 years, so just for this one, he asks her to listen to him. This long fight ends with Kyoya on top of Phyllis holding his sword. She seems to have returned to her older self and asks him to take her life now. She explains that once she is no longer, the contract that brought him here would break, and he would be able to return to his own world. She apologizes for dragging him into this mess. Kyoya drops the sword and asks why she is apologizing. Phyllis is surprised to hear that, but Kyoya gets angry and demands that if she is truly sorry, she should live. Phyllis does not know why he wants her to live when she was the one who destroyed the 3,000 worlds and everything in them. Kyoya shouts at her all the more and tells her that it was not her fault and there could be a way to separate her from the control, but Felice tells him that if there was such a way, she would have done so. It was not even possible with the help of the Lavanquin. This mention of the sword clicks something in Kyoya, and he stands up, understanding that it was not possible for Felice particularly. She does not know what he is planning until he summons a magic circle and says that he is going to be the one to do it. If she is bound to her root, then he would break her from the chains that bind her. So that she can live as Felice and not the demon lord, he will separate her ego from her soul. Felice obviously tries to stop him because even she could not attain this feat, even being the destroyer of 3,000 worlds, and Kyoya is far too unexperienced and powerless. If he fails, his soul will perish. However, Kyoya does not listen and is confident since he won against the very demon lord who destroyed the 3,000 worlds. Besides, in his world, a demon lord is supposed to give half the world to anyone who cooperates with them. So he asks for her past, for her future, for her sins, for the half. He calls upon Lavanquin, and the ancient sword answers his call. A huge void appears before them that is taking away Kyoya's life force and magic. In the void, Kyoya can see a figure, looking a lot like him, holding the sword and telling him that he is not ready yet. The figure reminds him how he uses excuses to give up everything every time. That is why his life has been so boring without any drama. So the figure prompts him to give up, just like every other time. Kyoya agrees that he has been giving up all his life because he had nothing to lose but not his time. He is not giving up on Felice, so he moves forward towards the figure and demands for the sword. The figure simply smiles and vanishes after handing him the sword, leaving behind the roots of Felice. She seems to be trapped inside, so Kyoya approaches her. He tells her that she had done so well for a long time, and now he will get her out of there. He aims his attack towards the root, and all he sees is white. After an unclear amount of time passes, he wakes up to a voice that tells him that he has been reckless. When he opens his eyes, he finds a cat in front of him. He recognizes that the cat is none other than Felice herself. She moves her paw and winks at him and asks if she is cute. However, Kyoya is more concerned about how she turned into a cat. She tells him that it was actually Kyoya who did this because Lavanquin has shredded her power to bits so much that she cannot even maintain her human form now. She has lost so much. Her powers, her curse, her destiny, and her shackles, she feels much lighter now. Kyoya carefully asks if he has succeeded, but Felice tells him to not be so conceited as he is only halfway there. If she had not helped him in the end, they both would have disappeared together with the world. Kyoya looks dejected as he apologizes for being so reckless, but Felice tells him not to since she is here right now. She thanks Kyoya for his hard work. With all this done, no longer tied to the destructive root, Felice has no idea what to do now. Kyoya invites her to his world so that he can show her what a normal life is like. He meekly adds that it is an option if she wants. Felice giggles at the fact that he is modestly saying all this even after demanding to take the half of her everything. But she jumps at him in the end, accepting his invitation. She also wants to find out what happened next in the manga. So they are finally back in Japan. They were able to hitch a ride on the goddess's transfer gate and did not have to build their own from scratch. Kyoya is also excited as he asks Felice how she is finding Japan and tells her that he would show her around wherever she wants to go. But their happiness and excitement does not last long when a group of people emerge from the darkness, their faces hidden by masks. They greet Kyoya and ask if he is a returnee from another world. Kyoya does not know them, but still tells them the truth. They say that they are from the Transferees Management Committee and pass him a letter. They say that it is a summon from the Eugratia State Academy and tell him to read the letter for further information. Then they proceed to leave while making it clear that Kyoya does not have the right to decline the summon. The group leaves into the black cloud, leaving a surprised Kyoya behind. It seems like it is still too early for them to enjoy a normal life, and that is how they ended up in the academy. Kyoya sighs as he says that it was not supposed to be like this. They ended up in a den of heroes of all places. He apologizes to Felice for not being able to show her around. However, she does not mind because it is more thrilling like this anyway. She asks what he is going to do from now on because with his power, which surpasses even hers, he could rule the school, conquer the world, or can do anything he wants to do. However, even if he could do all that, Kyoya says he is not interested. They have already seen the consequences of wielding such a power firsthand. Besides, if he stands out, they can easily figure out Felice's identity. He does not want that, so he shall live his life as peaceful as he can. As for fighting, he has done enough for the rest of his life. Felice states there is no right and wrong in power, it is how you use it that matters. She may have made a mistake, but Kyoya has not, so he should be more confident in himself. On a high building of an academy, a girl sits dangling her feet in the air. She has wings and an angle crown adoring her. She is talking to herself about the entrance ceremony and has noticed a couple of students who demonstrated tremendous power. She is excited and wonders what it would be like to supervise the students. She cannot wait for tomorrow. The first night at the Eugratia Academy has ended. On the second day of school, regular classes will finally begin. Kyoya wonders what kind of classes will be held at an academy for heroes. For him, who is in the company of a demon lord, it is quite problematic. But his biggest problem right now has to do with what he is muttering. He keeps on repeating that he needs to look them in the eye and speak clearly until Felice finally asks what he is muttering for the last couple of minutes. He proudly shows his strategy for school, which is simply a book on secrets of communication. They need to blend in so that nobody can find Felice, and to accomplish that, he plans on making some friends. Besides, he needs to refresh his communication skills after having only Felice to talk to for 30,000 years. Felice takes quite an offense after hearing that and asks if her interaction with him has been strange. Kyuya says that it has been because of Felice's constant bad behavior and lists all the occurrences. In a certain world, a certain someone given a chance will try to tease him or trying to get a minor like him to drink or experimenting with new magic on him right after he is healed. All this has a little effect on Felice as she makes a funny face and says that someone like that does exist somewhere, like in an abandoned world perhaps. Kyuya is ticked and wonders if he should beat this naughty cat of a woman. They finally reach the classroom, so Felice is spared. Before entering, Kyuya instructs her to stay inside the bag and behave and tells her to use telepathy if she needs to say anything. Kyuya enters the classroom and greets loudly, only to find that the classroom is empty. He is surprised that no one is present until Felice points out to him that the class starts at 8 and he is here too early. He is looking at the clock when he hears someone say that Lala is the first one here. He turns around but finds no one, making him doubt if he really heard a voice. He slowly approaches the front desk and notices someone hiding behind it. Kyuya goes around the desk and asks who is there. There is an angry-looking girl with wings and an angel crown asking about his unintentional staring. Kyuya thinks that it is a lost child and the girl snaps. She flails around and starts shouting that everyone keeps saying that just because she is tiny. Everyone looks down on her and treat her like a child. She even says that if she was a lost child, she would have cried to him instantly, so he should think a bit before speaking. Kyuya is taken aback a bit and asks who she is. She says that she is Lala, a goddess and a very important being. Kyuya is surprised to find that and worries that Felice is still inside the bag. He stutters in front of her, making Lala think that he does not believe her. She decides to make an exception and show him the power of a goddess. She points her index finger upwards and tries to flap her wings to sit on the desk, in which she succeeds, albeit a bit difficulty. Kyuya blandly asks if that is all, but Lala says to let her take a breath. Kyuya asks Felice, through telepathy of course, if Lala really is a goddess. Felice replies that even if her power is relatively weak, there is no doubt that she is a goddess. Kyuya apologizes to Lala and tells her that it was his first time seeing a goddess, so he made a mistake. Lala is shocked that he never saw a goddess before. Felice instantly tells him that a hero is usually summoned by a goddess, so it is weird that he never saw one before. He needs to fool Lala, so he says that he has never seen a goddess as young and talented as her. That is what he meant. Unexpectedly, Lala finds it suspicious and says that he is hiding something. She won't be fooled because she is self-proclaimed smart. She even points at his bag and says that she smelled something suspicious from it. Kyuya is super worried and asks Felice to act like a cat. Felice is even more perplexed, but there is tug-of-war going on outside that Lala wins and opens the bag, only to find a cat inside. Felice acts so mushy cute that even Lala is influenced and calls her Fluffy. She takes the cat into her arms and squeezes so hard that Felice is forced to squeal. Kyuya is glad that they were able to fool her somehow when the students start coming to the class. He sits at the back and observes his classmates. He is surprised that they obediently came to school. Judging from the mood on the first day, he thought they had be a little more reluctant. He wonders if this is the effect of yesterday's speech by the executive officer. And the teacher has not arrived for quite some time, so Kyuya asks Lala if she is the teacher. She feels proud but says that she is much important than a teacher. She is a superintendent. He is wondering where the actual teacher is when a familiar figure enters the classroom and greets them. It is the executive officer from yesterday. Minaho and Kyuya is not the only one surprised to see her. Noticing that none of the student is happy to see her, she complained that kids these days cannot even say hello to their instructor. A brave student tried to defend himself that he just never thought that a fellow student would be the instructor. Minaho asks if they really thought a regular school teacher would come because a normal adult has nothing they can teach to people like all of them. Everyone present is a former hero and all of them have some kind of superpower. No way can a normal adult take care of this matter. But it sure is troubling if the new students think that they are on par with the executive members. Her expression is so dark that the students are left speechless. Minaho simply scratches her head and proceeds to start the lesson, but she does not know anything about them, so she clicks her fingers to test what they are capable of doing. The ground below disappears, attracting every student inside. The last advice from Minaho is to take care of their lives. When the students open their eyes, they find themselves on the ground, a strange stitched sky hovering over them. Kyuya and Felice discuss that this is a new space created by advanced spatial magic. Felice is somewhat impressed that Minaho is capable of creating and maintaining such a large place. No wonder she does not want to be lumped in with the rest of them. A girl shrieks, attracting the attention towards her direction. Minaho tells them that she particularly brought her adorable pets since the yesterday ones got defeated so easily. She asks if they are cute, making Kyuya huff out a restricted laugh that she really has a nasty hobby. Before the students is a swarm of monsters, beasts, dragons, and such. Kyuya laughs as he is sure that Minaho had no intention of teaching properly from the beginning. Even Felice says to watch himself as Minaho instructed to take care of their lives. Kyuya leaves the bag on the ground and gets up. His body has been feeling sluggish lately since it has been a while since their last battle, so this might be a good warm-up. The executive committee member, their instructor, Minaho, wants to test the ability of her class, so she puts a terrible test. Everyone has started fighting, and Kyoya's opponent is the mighty dragon. He does not know the name or the habits of this giant thing, but after 30,000 years of fighting Felice, he is pretty sure that he can handle this much. But the problem is that Felice and Kyoya must not stand out. If he wins this fight too quickly, it will look unnatural. But if he holds back too much, he would draw attention as well for being too weak for a hero. In short, he needs to win just right. So he charges towards the giant, dodges the attack of its claw, and uses suppressed flame magic to attack its mouth. The giant stares at him and counters with the breath attack. Kyoya summons a shield to protect himself, internally happy that he is doing a good job of faking it. The other students notice the giant that he is fighting and start saying that he is fighting an S-class monster that is a pretty tough one. Furthermore, Kyoya seems to be doing pretty well too. Kyoya hears them and is glad that there is no suspicion so far. That is until a student notices that the dragon has short horns, meaning it is a female dragon. They say that compared to a male one, the female dragon is docile and weak. They question if he really is a hero if he is evenly matched with that thing. Thinking that he has been too suspicious, Kyoya uses his bare hand to punch the dragon so hard that it flies away. The other students have their suspicion removed, so Kyoya tries to pretend that he was not seriously fighting back then. However, another student points out the fact that the male dragons have the shorter horns. Now all the students are shocked that Kyoya was able to one-shot an S-class giant. They wonder if he really is a dropout hero. Kyoya is truly done with them, but he still needs to act out, so he pretends that his hand took a toll for punching the dragon. The students finally buy his act and he sweats in thinking that the school life is rough. A shudder runs down his spine and he turns around to spot a flame wisp in the vicinity. He wonders what is a shape-shifting pseudo-spirit is doing out here. Unlike demons, it is artificially life created by the magic. The question is if Minaho prepared it on purpose. The wisp crackles and a 5-headed dragon emerges from within. The students have still not managed to prepare when all the dragon heads open wide and breath the fire. Once the fire is about to reach them, the students do not need a reminder to deploy their defensive magic. The goddess Lala and Minaho are seated in the sky and are watching the explosion. The goddess has had enough of watching this misery and asks Minaho to stop it, but Minaho is already fast asleep. The students also realize that neither the goddess or the executive committee member have any intention of stopping this. But the beast has already incinerated other demons, and the students only have their shields to defend them. Kyoya takes a look at the others, who do not look in good condition right now. He glares at the beast and knows that he does not have time for this. He does not know whose pet it is, but it is far out of line. So Kyoya uses hypnosis to order it to stay put, and fortunately it stops moving. The other students notice it stop moving and use recovery magic to tend to their wounds while they have the time. A figure appears behind them, asking if this is all over. As Kyoya expected, it is none other than Takeru. He snaps his fingers to make the beast disappear. Kyoya establishes the fact that the flame wisp belongs to Takeru. However, Takeru is not a bit ashamed of what he has done. He states that he could not bear to take this boring test seriously. He calls his class fellows trash for not being able to avoid an attack like that. He even makes fun of them for not even being able to say anything at the moment. Kyoya is about to tell him off, but Komari beats him to it and demands an apology from Takeru. The airhead does not get it, so Komari repeats to apologize for hurting everyone. Kyoya is surprised by her courage, but Takeru only looks down on her for acting out despite being so weak. His point is that they are all heroes, and for them, strength is justice. If she hates it so much, she should make him apologize with force. Takeru even lets out his flames and says that he would apologize wholeheartedly after he turns her to ashes. Everyone remains silent, but Komari pushes Takeru away and agrees to the condition, making everyone shocked, including Takeru. Kyoya tries to stop her because he thinks that she does not stand a chance against Takeru, but she tells him to not try to stop her, for this is her fight. Takeru and Komari are standing against each other, ready to strike any minute. Kyoya notices that this girl is more aggressive than expected. It looks like she is trying to push herself. Felice interrupts his thoughts and tells him to not interfere as Komari asked, since this is her fight. Kyoya surprisingly agrees. Takeru calls her an idiot for not even being able to assess the difference between their abilities. He says that he would not mind if she chose to back down now, since it is too boring if he just has to stomp her. He then spreads his arms and states that he would let her have the first move for being a handicap. As insulting as it is, Komari takes the opportunity provided to her by her opponent. She uses her skill named Flower Bud of Heavenly Samja first stage, while her sword shimmers in her hands. Everyone, including Takeru, is shocked to see her ability. Kyoya knows that this is one of the so-called cheat abilities a transferee receives from a goddess. Judging from the reactions of the others who have also received an ability, it seems her ability is exceptional. However, Komari bends on her knees because it is not enough. She is not strong enough to unleash her full power, and she is going past her limits. Takeru laughs hysterically on the fact that she cannot even use her own unique abilities, but he does admit that she gave him a fright. Komari glares at him, but Lala comes flying down because she cannot tolerate the bullying of the weak. However, Takeru uses his super scary expression to make her stand back. This look sends a shiver in even the goddess, and she runs into Kyoya's arms crying. He thinks that he is really reckless but tries to soothe her anyway. Kyoya then tells Takeru to call it quits for now, but Komari is still bent on fighting her own fight and asks him to not interfere. Kyoya can easily spot her trembling hands, and so of course Takeru has also noticed them and tells her off to quit already because she is not cut out for this school. Kyoya tries to mediate and tries to stop the looming fight, but Takeru punches him so hard that he is flown far away in a skipping sequence. Komari is shocked while Takeru warns him to not yap so much and get on his nerves. He urges Kyoya to show his ability because he believes that it would be trash as well. However, he was not expecting Kyoya to tell him that he does not have any unique ability. It is all because he was summoned by a demon lord instead of a goddess, but he does not reveal this piece of information. Takeru laughs at him for not even having an ability. He never thought of a hero without an ability, but he says that he expected as much from a piece of garbage like him. Takeru picks up the bag which contains Felis and wants to show how easily Kyoya can be incinerated. Kyoya snaps at him after finding Felis in danger and runs to grab his wrist. His strength is so much that even the powerful Takeru winces and is forced to let go of the bag. Komari runs towards Kyoya to ask if he is alright, but all she gets is a bag to hold on to for now. Kyoya demands Takeru to show his unique ability that he is so proud of. As proud as Takeru is, he proudly shows his unique skill and summons the Dvergr. He explains that he can enhance the power of all fire magic hundreds of times. While everyone else scared and Takeru is bent on incinerate every last of them, Kyoya simply puts forward a finger. So when Takeru tires to fire them, nothing happens. He tries it again and again, but nothing is happening, causing the other students to giggle at his misery. Takeru tells them to shut up and assumes that Kyoya has the unique ability of magic. Kyoya did actually interfere with his magic, but he was not lying when he said he does not have any unique abilities, but he can do almost anything at the level of a unique ability. Takeru, on the other hand, thinks that he has it all figured out and decides to use his fists to beat Kyoya physically. He charges at Kyoya, but Kyoya is not to be underestimated. He dodges the attack and kicks him hard for Komari and trying to burn Felis to ashes. The kick causes Takeru to fly away. The students could not see anything because the two of them were moving so fast, so Kyoya grabs his leg while crying, pretending that Takeru ran into him when he lifted his leg, and Takeru suddenly flew back on his own. The students are not suspicious now, but Takeru is having a hard time balancing the school and his powers. Minaho finally wakes up conveniently after everything is sorted and remembers that she was in the middle of the class. Seeing that none of the kids died, she dismisses the class and brings them back to the classroom with a snap of her fingers. Kyoya is surprised that she is really ending things like this despite all the trouble of going through the test. Minaho approaches him and tells him that it is fine to reveal his skills a bit more. Kyoya glares at her and asks what she is talking about, but she simply smirks and goes away. Kyoya knows that it was excessive to do all this even if it was for Felis's sake. Looks like his school life is getting more complicated. His bag with Felis is still in Komari's hand when she approaches Kyoya and grabs his hand, asking him to let her call him master. Yes, the school life has turned extremely complicated. There is a party going on between a not-so-looking happy Kyoya, an excited Lala, and a happy Komari, all to celebrate the formation of Lala-chan's team. Kyoya wonders how he ended up into this. Well, it all started when Komari asked him to let her call him master with sparkly eyes. Both of them are holding hands when Minaho suddenly appears because she forgot to tell them something. She tells them to check the team list that is posted in the hallway. She is kind enough to tell them that in this academy, they have a team system consisting of 2 to 5 members with one goddess in charge of each team. Basically, they would be operating as a team. And that is how Kyoya ended up in this team. Komari still cannot believe that she is on the same team as her self-proclaimed master, that is Kyoya. Lala is also excited to be on the same team as the Fluffy-chan, a name she came up with for Felis the cat. Both the girls are super excited. Komari is saying that this must be fate, and Lala asking if he is also happy to be on the same team as her. Kyoya does not really care and tell them to stop messing up his room. But the two of them are not listening at all, spilling drinks and chips everywhere. At least, Komari has the decency to help pick up the pieces of broken glass, but Kyoya tells her to not touch it directly and leave it to him. This triggers a memory of Komari when her team members used to tell her to leave everything to them because they will fight for her. She becomes sad at the memory and asks Kyoya that he must be strong and must know how to fight to be able to beat Takeru. Kyoya denies that, saying that Takeru just messed up his spell so it was all a fluke. However, Komari seems to not buy it and asks him to teach her how to fight because she wants to be strong. Kyoya remains silent for a while but tells her that there is nothing he can teach her. Besides, that is the responsibility of the goddess, the one who is currently lazing around over there. Lala tries to clarify that the goddess's job is solely supervising. Their job is to watch over the activities of the heroes, and since Lala is still an apprentice, she can sit back and eat chips. But the rest of the goddesses are too busy watching over the top reams and do not have time to conduct such lectures. Kyoya points out that Lala is free right now, but she says that she ate just now and is full right now, so she is sleepy. With no goddess helping with the training, Kyuya once again excuses himself from the task of teaching and goes out to throw out the trash he just picked up. He gets out of the room where Felice is sitting. She asks him to just teach her as she is insisting so much because being stingy would not help him becoming popular with the ladies. Kyuya says that he is just trying to stay out of trouble and not get them exposed by trying to be a teacher at this school. Besides, there is no way that he and Felice would not be exposed if they get too involved, so it is fine to keep a safe distance. Felice appreciates all the things that he is doing for her, but he is overthinking the things a bit. It is not her wish for him to distance himself from others for avoiding the risk of being found out. It is true that when one gets involved with others, there is a risk of them knowing things you do not want them to know, but being able to get involved with people is also a wonderful experience. At least for her, the idea of spending her boisterous time with this boisterous bunch makes her quite excited. Felice and Lala are fast asleep in the morning while Kyuya is out for a morning run. He is thinking about his exercising routine because it is hard to break a habit of 3,000 years. He notices Komari also out in the field, practicing with her sword. He observes her form and calls it beautiful. Komari also notices him approaching and blushes hard, saying that it is still too early for a love confession. Kyuya instantly clarifies that he was talking about her swinging form. It is a proof that she is sticking to the fundamentals and says that she is training hard. Komari does not look too happy about the compliment and says that all she can do is train after all. Kyuya asks what kind of world she was summoned to after seeing her sad expression. She tells him that it was a beautiful place, the town was beautiful, and the people were kind. She is really glad that world was saved. Kyuya is surprised that it was saved when she is also a dropout hero who failed to defeat the Demon Lord. Komari tells him that she was not alone but was summoned with the rest of her class, so everyone defeated the Demon Lord together. Everyone except for her. Kyuya asks if it was bullying, but she shakes her head. It is far from it since everyone was kind. They were so kind that when they found out that Komari was not strong enough to handle her own power, they told her to not force herself and protect the city instead, when they were the ones actually protecting her. Even when they were busy, they came to check up on her and even bought presents with them. When Komari wanted to train to use her powers, they were willing to help her. Komari loves all of them so much. That is why she wants to be strong. Even if it is just little, she wants to be able to be useful to the people she loves. But lately she has been thinking if it is really worth it or not because she is afraid of fighting. No matter how hard she trains, she cannot help but tremble when she is in a real fight. Even yesterday, she could not do anything. She thinks that she is a weakling and a coward in the end, not cut out to be a hero at all. And this leads her to believe that she should just stop being a hero at all. Kyuya tells her that it is actually fine if she is scared. It is not what you cannot do what matters, but the things that you can actually do. Sure, her hands tremble and her feet cower, and yet she can still stand up in the face of her enemies. As for Kyuya, he only acted when his bag was about to be burned, but she acted faster than anyone for everyone's sake. That is something that Kyuya could not do, but Komari can conquer her fears. Then all that is left is to learn how to fight while trembling. She does not have to give up on herself just because she cannot shake off the cowardice she was born with. Kyuya extends his hand towards her and tells her that she can win even when she is scared. He decides to help her control the basics of magic, but either she can use her powers or not is something that is up to her. Komari feels emotional and takes his hand to stand up. Kyuya asks her to stop calling her master since they are in the same team now. Komari calls his name and says to take care of her from now on. Komari finds it embarrassing to call and be called by the names, and so his school life begins to move. However, since the students are heroes who save the world, accept them, and also possess a powerful weapon called the unique ability, there was nothing in particular to learn and everyone spends their time doing whatever they want in the classroom. Even though the upperclassmen who play the role of instructors know this, they did not even bother to warn them. They just proceeded without much care. They especially do not expect anything from the dropout heroes and do not even give them special mission or the tasks. Every day they repeat the basic training and the lectures. It is so peaceful that it is almost disheartening. It is so much peaceful that it had Kyuya thinking that living such a quiet and peaceful life with them was not so bad. 2 weeks passed with this thought in his mind, and then something happened. One evening, Kyuya and Komari return from their classes and are being greeted by Lala and Felice. Komari starts playing with Felice as she has picked up a foxtail on the way here. Kyuya thinks that his room has totally turned into a hangout place when Lala hands him a letter. She got it from an important person from school who told her to give it to Kyuya. He opens it and is shocked to find that warning letter. If within 1 week, there is no improvement in the current situation, both Kyuya and Komari would be expelled from school. He asks Lala the meaning of this, but she has no idea as well. Komari notices something else written on the letter and points it out. The reason for the expulsion seems to be the negative value of SP. Komari tells him that it means the savior points. It is like an internal report for this school. It is a point that increases by successful academic achievements or missions, and decreases by violations of school rules or failing a mission. In other words, it is a number that is vital to student life at this school. Kyuya still does not understand how could they get the values in negative, but Komari turns her face around. Lala points out that there are a lot of numbers written at the back of the paper. So when Kyuya turns the page to read, the list is a lengthy one. Imari Komari, due to breaking a window glass, gets -10 points. Imari Komari, due to tripping over on practical exercises, gets -5 points. Imari Komari, due to vomiting in the cafeteria, a detriment to school hygiene, get -15 points. The list goes on, and Lala and Kyuya look at her strangely. She spreads on the ground while crying and telling them to not look at her like that. She even swears that it was not on purpose. Kyuya knows that now is not the time to be blaming. They need to accumulate more than 3,000 points in a week or so. Komari comes to grab him and asks what they can do. Fellis meows and look at Kyuya expectantly. She tells him to Norris to fret over it since the solution to their problem right here. She puts her paw on the mission list of this month that has a Demon King subjugation expedition mission with over 3,000 savior points. On the other hand, a woman apologizes to a man named Kyugoku for disrupting his training and informs him that juniors who would go with him to the subjugation expedition mission of Demon King have been decided. Team B11 would be accompanying him. Kyugoku knows that they are a bunch of losers and does not like working with them, even if it is for the sake of savior points. He states that he would beat them up with his air raid if they came in his way. On the day of the Demon King subjugation expedition mission, arrive at the meeting place, which is the plaza. Komari is very excited because she had that it would be a joint operation with a senior team, and this fired her up. She cannot wait to see how awesome they are and learn a lot from them. This is Lala's first expedition as well, and she is excited to have a lot of fun. Felis is worried that this goddess thinks that expeditions are for having fun. Kyuya finds them too carefree when they are the reason that they have to go to this expedition in the first place. Up front, the team is already gathered and Kyugoku tells them that they are late. They should have arrived 15 minutes earlier and calls them trash. Kyuya apologizes and asks if they are the seniors who are meant to go together with them. Kyugoku introduces himself as the leader of the A25 team and tells them that they would be joining them on the expedition. He then asks if they are aware of their task, as the Team B Komari is excited to reply that their job is to defeat the Demon King and bring peace to the world. Kyugoku, however, pours cold water on her excitement as he tells them that their job is just to stay out of their way since they are mere support. Besides, it is just the stage 3, so they can easily take care of the Demon Lord. Kyuya does not know about the stages and asks. He is informed that a stage is a classification of different levels of threat in the other worlds. They are divided into 9 stages depending on the danger, starting from stage 1, where there are no monsters, to stage 9, where the threat is on the level of an invasion of another world. Their mission this time is stage 3, a stage that can be cleared by a single group alone, although there is also the Lost World said to exceed stage 9. Kyuya absorbs the information given and asks why this one is a joint operation when it can be cleared by a single hero. The boy is about to answer that, but is grabbed by the head and is thrown on the ground by Kyugoku. He asks the boy who gave him the permission to teach those guys when he has judged that they do not need an explanation. The poor boy tries to explain that they are just new here, so he thought it right to give them some guidance. Komari also runs forward because she is against violence, but is stopped by the other team members. Kyugoku lets go of the boy and answers that it is a joint operation for an easy stage 3 because a bonus will be given for training the newcomers in savior points. In other words, Team A does not need their help, and all that Team B needs to do is stay out of the way so that they do not slow them down and get the savior points, a win-win situation. He even warns them to no talk back to him again. The heated atmosphere has not cooled when another figure appears from the sky and tells them to not fight with each other. She is Lady Freefetia, the goddess of Team A. Kyugoku tells her that everything is fine, but she still states it clearly to treat the Team B as the team members since they are together on this mission. Unexpectedly, Kyugoku apologizes. She praises him for being good and relays a good news. If Kyugoku succeeds in this mission, the Academy will raise his personal rank to B+. As her handler, the goddess is very proud of him. Kyugoku is determined to do his utmost to honor her, and she giggles that he is as reliable as ever. She greets the Team B and apologizes for being late. She introduces herself kindly, and both Kyuya and Komari stutter while doing the same. It looks like the both of them are enchanted, taking Lala off because this was not the reaction they showed when they met her. Even Felice is angry at Kyuya because she thinks that she is several times more beautiful. With the formalities done, the goddess opens the door that would lead them to the world that seeks their help. Komari watches the transfer gate with worry, but Kyuya pats her back and provides silent assurance. They enter the transfer gate that leads them to another world for another adventure. Damaris, the king of the nation, welcomes the party in the Ramless and thanks them for hearing their call. He has even prepared a modest celebration for the arriving party. Komari and Lala dig in, while Kyuya knows that not eating what you were served is rude, but they are overeating, which is a concern. He looks around the place to find it grand and picturesque. Kyugoku, on the other, and is a true straightforward that tells the king to drop the pleasantries and should cut to the chase. He starts explaining that the army is exhausted from repeated battles with the Demon Lord's army, and military expenses grow as soldiers need to replenish supplies, leaving the people to suffer from heavy taxes. Not only that, monsters plunder the crops, contaminate the soil, leaving the land barren, resulting in food shortages that begin from the countryside, forcing people to flee from the countryside to take refuge in the royal capital. With the capital's citizens suffering from various sources of stress, public order is deteriorating. There is no end to the problems, so they seek the help to defeat the Demon King. Kyugoku already has a clear picture of the situation. All he needs to know is the location of the demon lord of this world called Gijord. He also refuses the help of the troops and asks the king to use them to defend the castle and rebuild the city. One of the men of the king speaks that they intend to form an elite force to help the heroes even a little bit. But Kyugoku makes it clear that they are a burden. He stands up asking the location of the demon lord and not worry about the rest. He even says that if the king needs further assistance, the Team B would provide it. He does not give a chance to Kyuya to speak and issues orders that the Team B would stay in the castle to defend the royal capital. Team A would be the one to invade the demon lord's castle. Kyugoku bids his farewell coldly and leaves, not even giving a chance to object. The Team B is escorted to their room in the castle. Lala enters the room, goes to the sofa like a drunken ghost and sleeps away because according to her, her body told her to sleep. Komari on the other hand seems excited to defend the castle, but Kyuya stares at her and says that it really is a pity since she said she wanted to protect someone with her own hands. Komari finally shows her true emotions and says that she really wants to defeat the demon lord with her own hands if she can, but the most important thing is to protect everyone in this world. Even if it is behind the scenes, if she can help someone, she is happy. Kyuya lets out a breath and says that people like her should be called the real heroes, but Komari is unable to hear that. Felis is happy that Kyuya is making friends steadily, but she would be really jealous if he keeps all his attention on Komari and leave her alone. Felis feels something and warns Kyuya when a figure appears behind them and enters the room through the balcony. She tells the heroes from another world to come and fight her. The intruder moves too fast to attack them and Komari tells Kyuya to stand back while she summons her sword. The two of them exchange a few moves, but Komari is defeated. The girl is still commenting on how weak Komari is when Kyuya grabs her and throws her on the ground, telling her to stay put. He looks at Komari, who is currently lying on the floor, and is relieved that she is fine. He knows that the intruder girl hit Komari with the back of her sword and has no intent to take lives. Well, there is only one way to find out what she wants. Kyuya asks her to help put Komari on the couch if she does not want to end up with a broken arm. When she has been put on the couch, Kyuya ensures that there is no need to worry since she has been trained. That aside, he says that the moves of the new girl were not normal and asks if she is the one who stood up to defeat the demon lord on her own, known as the local hero. The girl takes off her hood and tells that her name is Anri, and there was a time she was called the local hero. This went until the goddesses prophesied that a true hero would come from another world to defeat the demon lord. She asks if they are ones that were spoken in the prophecy. Kyuya asks her what is she going to do if they were. She says that she attacked them because she only wanted to confirm whether they are worthy or not to be entrusted with this world. There are a lot of people in this world that she cares about, so if they would save them, she would do anything. She will even fight alongside them. But if it turns out it is just some punk who claims to be a hero for fame, then she shall take care of them herself. That is what she thought. She even praises Kyuya for his capability, but says that it is still not enough to defeat the demon Lord Gijor, who is brutal and cunning, and would use every trick in the book. If they are weak, they would not stand a chance against his aim if they are weak. Kyuya asks if he could not defeat him as well, and she tells him that she pathetic who could not protect anything. He took her father, her mother, the whole village, everything. That is why she picked up a sword to avenge them, but she never became strong enough to do it. She has barely won every battle she has fought, that it is a miracle that she is even alive today. The first time she fought the demon lord, she could not even reach him. When she managed to escape with her life, she was miserable being reminded how weak she was. It made her realize that she is not a hero. She is not strong, she is not brave, and she is just a weak loser howling for revenge. She apologizes for telling such a depressing story. What she wanted to tell was that no matter how confident they are, they cannot let their guards down in front of the demon Lord Gijor. Kyuya breaks the silence and tells her to not worry since they are just a backup and the other team consists of the most elite of the heroes. So he is sure that her regret would be avenged. Anri is glad to hear that, but she says that she wants to eliminate the demon king with her own hands if she could, smash that red nose of his and tell him to go to hell. She wishes she could have saved the world with her own hands. Komari, who has been awake for some time now, finally speaks up. She grabs her hand and tells her that she too had a similar experience. She alone was powerless and the problem was solved without her input. She understands it well, that feeling of powerlessness. Although her experience is mild compared to Anri's, but even so she will continue to hold her sword. So she too should continue holding her sword. It may not be for revenge, but someday, she might need that sword. The confident and cool Komari finally loses her cool and confidence and stutters as she says that she is rooting for her and that she does not know how to give encouragement. Anri giggles at the strangeness that Komari is lecturing someone who beat her. Komari instantly clarifies that she did not mean to lecture her, but Anri does not mind and introduces herself, asking for her name in return. Komari blushes a little and tells her name. Anri apologizes for hurting her earlier and Komari finally remembers that she was hurt. Anri tells her to work on her abs, stepping on a sensitive topic since Komari is sensitive of her flabby tummy. Felis, who is sitting on the balcony, calls Kyuya. He goes to her and asks what is wrong. She tells him that she has a bad feeling because there is a ripple of magic in the air. She tells him that it is best for him to be on his guard since this night signals bad omens. After all, he is the esteemed hero assigned to protect the castle. Kyuya glances inside and asks Felice why there is a need to summon heroes from different worlds, even though there is someone like her who cares so much about this world. Why can't the goddess just give power to the local heroes? Phyllis replies that if the goddesses could do that, they would. But when all fails, they need the people of Earth. People of Earth were originally created to be warriors of great power, and by unbinding their shackle through the key that is the goddesses, one will become the powerful warrior they were meant to be. If they had unrestricted access to their power, they would destroy themselves, for history has proven that humans with power will repeatedly fight each other. Thus, the goddesses who oversee the world tree decided to place shackles on the people of Earth. Kyuya realizes that the academy is run by the goddesses and the humans, so it is dangerous. They are wondering what those goddesses were planning for them to break such a taboo when suddenly, they feel a presence and an ominous circus tent appears before them. This sensation reveals that the teleportation magic has been used. The tent screeches with horrifying noises and Anri runs towards the balcony. Kyuya asks if she knows what that is, and of course she does. Kyugoku wears his gloves with a snap as he says that it saved him a lot of trouble. From inside the tent, skulls and bones emerge that transform into a huge figure. It is announced to the local masses that he is here to play with the prey. Before them is the demon Lord Gigjorg of this world. With the arrival of the demon Lord Gigjorg, Anri stands in front of everyone and demands his reasons for showing up here. The demon lord stares at her for a while and then splits into different characters to put on a show. One character answers that he is here to meet his sweet Anri Han. Another one cries and says that he cannot sleep at night because she eliminated his 4 heavenly kings. Another asks if she has any idea how she feels. Surely she would know if eliminated her mother and father as well. He then stops to realize and say that he really did eliminated her mother and father. Anri is furious after hearing that, but Kyuya tells her to calm down since his purpose is to provoke him. But still, Kyuya did not expect for him to show on his own. The soldiers on the other hand have the magic cannons ready and fire at the giant Demo King. The shooting is at point, making them wonder if they have done it at last. With the destruction of the giant body, they start celebrating that they have finally defeated the Demon King and peace awaits them. However, Anri is not so naive to believe that, and warns the other that this is not over yet since he is not that weak. A voice echoes from the giant body saying that Anri knows him well. Soon enough, the giant body explodes and a lot of demons emerge from within. Everyone is shocked to see the number of demons. Kyuya realizes that the giant body was just a dummy made by magic and the real body is somewhere else. At this 8, the people will get harmed, so this is not the time to lay low. However, before Kyuya can do anything, Team A arrives. Kyugoku tells the others to do the usual, and the 3 calls their ability and use it to enhance Kyugoku's magic. Kyuya also realizes what they are doing. The other members are working together to strengthen Kyugoku, so he uses his skill air raid to eliminate all the demons in one go. Everyone present is amazed by this ability. The Demon Lord once again emerges from the filthy rain and praises the other world's heroes for presenting such a spectacular performance. The Demon Lord felt a strong magical presence, so he came to take a look, only to find that the kingdom called help from another world. Kyugoku calls him stupid for coming all the way here even when he knew that they are here. The Demon Lord finds it harsh and tells him to not use such harsh words that make him look so weak. He admits that he has the tendency that when he watches an excited child with a new toy, it makes him want to crush the toy in front of them. That is why he wants to crush the heroes from another world, the hope of this world's people who believe that they are saved now. He then summons his magic circles and says that this was supposed to be a gift for Henri, but he now has to wait until after he eliminates the heroes from another world. The Demon Lord fires from the magic circles, which is an immense power, but is fortunately stopped by the shield that Kyugoku and his team set up. The Demon Lord is still thinking how that is possible when Kyugoku flies above him and attacks from behind. The Demon Lord barely dodges the surprise attack and his arm is severed from his body. Kyugoku says that he does not like wasting time, and thus cannot waste his time explaining his powers to a dying man. He charges again at the Demon Lord, who is currently calling for timeout and saying that this is not like his scenario. Kyugoku stats that just means that his scenario is a waste of time and finishes off the Demon Lord. Kyuya, who has been watching the fight all along, analyzes that by using a 3-man enhancement, Kyogoku, who possesses the unique ability to manipulate high-speed winds, takes charge of the attack. This is how this team does things, and this is the Kippogoku Arata. He is currently looming over them and disdainfully says that they must now understand the difference between the true heroes and the losers. Kyuya and Kamari does not say anything in return, so he turns towards the team to pass the message to prepare to pull out since their work here is done. The girl in the team thumps up in response, meaning that she has understood the message. The people of this world finally come out of the shock and start cheering and celebrating the defeat of the Demon Lord. Henri is kind of sad and feeling pathetic that she did not even stand a chance against the Demon Lord Gigjorg when it only took an instant for Kyugoku. Kyuya is about to say something when Kamari prompts him to look in the direction she is pointing towards. Even Kyugoku turns around to find a cloud of darkness from where the Demon King Gigjorg's head emerges, and he promised to not forgive the one who tried to eliminate him. Kuju is shocked to see that the Demon King is still alive. The king tells Kyogoku that he will remember his face, and then a hand comes out of nowhere, taking the Demon King's face with it. In the end, the king gives a final goodbye with his hands and disappears into a magical hat. Kyogoku realized that the Demon King Gogjorg had escaped, but no matter, they know his strength. He is just stage 3. But Henri shouts, letting Kyogoku know not to be fooled by the Joker since he might still be hiding his power. But the arrogant Kyogoku tells Henri that he doesn't need any advice from an amateur like her. He says they are the professional ones. Soon the people start cheering up for Kyogoku and call him hero. Saddened, Henri tells Kyogoku that she understands what he means and also calls him a hero, while Kuju stands there looking at all this silently. Later, the people celebrate and enjoy because the Demon King is gone. Kuju is standing on the terrace looking down at the people having a good time when Komari comes in saying it is bustling. Kuju says he heard they are celebrating the Demon King's defeat, although technically he hasn't been defeated yet. Komari looks around and says it looks fun. She adds that Lila also wants to go there, but Kujoy declines. Annoyed, she asks the reason for him saying no. Kuju says, if a goddess like her went down there right now, there would be a huge uproar. Kumari shifts and tells Layla to bear with it, since it is already too late. But Layla says it is a festival. Kumari tries to bribe Layla by saying she will give her a bag of chips and soda when they get back home, plus some pudding too as an exchange. The trick works and Layla agrees not to go down to enjoy the festival. Kuju smiles, saying it is good that Layla is easy to handle. The cat also tells Kuju that he is also interested in the festival thing, but he declines, saying he can't leave Enri alone right now. Meanwhile, Anri is sitting inside annoyed about what happened with the Demon King and how she couldn't even do anything at all. Just then, someone knocks on the door, making Kuju wonder who could it be so late at night. The door opens, and it turns out to be Shinbu Yuki, the one from Team A. He is the support guy from Team A. He says he is just a lackey. He asks if he can talk to them for a minute and comes inside. Shinku is here to apologize because their leader was very rude to Anri during the day. This confuses the rest, but Shinku keeps going. He says Kyogoku is the bad person. It is just that he is rather pragmatic and only interacts minimally to avoid wasting time. That is why he is sure there were many times Anri was offended by him. He asks her to try to understand that Kyogoku never meant to do anything bad. Just then, Layla interrupts, saying it can't be helped. She will make an exception for him and asks Shinku to raise his head. This makes Kuju wonder if Layla surely likes to act this way. Shinku then looks at Anri and says he heard from King Damaris that she has been protecting this country all this time. He apologizes to her properly again and says they, as outsiders, have taken credit even though she is the one who should receive this credit. Anri says she is trying to protect everyone and that is all. Komari tells Shinku that he seems very king. She thought that everyone from Team A was scary. Shinku smiles, saying people are different. Even if they are called heroes, each of them has different strengths and backgrounds. As for him, he is ranked F, the lowest of the low. He just happened to be lucky to be given the tattoo that he showed to everyone. He adds that he is no better than them, the dropout heroes. Shinku explains that before he was called to the academy, in the world where he was originally summoned, he was powerless against the Demon Lord. One day, when he was calling himself all the bad things so being so weak, the heroes from the academy sent by the goddess appeared. And together with them, he defeated the Demon Lord and earned this mark. All he did was piggyback off others. He says he is just a fake hero. Anrei and Komari get awkward upon Shinku calling himself a fake hero. Shinku says he can understand their frustration. That's why he wanted to say a few words of apology. Though he knows it won't bring them any comfort, it was Anrei who competed and defended the country from the Demon Lord. This peace wasn't brought alone by them. Her sword has kept this place alive. With that, he is about to leave when Komari asks if he is leaving already. Shinku agrees, saying they are about to leave to defeat the Demon King. Kyogoku is always fastidious after all, so he expects that they will be done by morning. Komari wishes him the best of luck. Anri also lets Shinku know that she will leave Gidjorg to them. After Shinku leaves, Kuju says that if only the team of guys were as nice as him, he would have no problem associating with them. The cat asks Kuju if that is so. It says that it likes them better with a touch of arrogance and decides, kind people are unearthed soon. Kuju laughs, saying it means that the cat is not nice since it has lived hundreds of thousands of years. The cat says that if he puts it that way, then he is the same. Kuju asks them not to worry since they are genuine heroes. The next day, the kingdom's bell rings. Kuju and the rest come out to check up on the situation to find tons of people outside. Komari is surprised to see so many people. Anri says no wonder since his peace is about to be realized, and there won't be a second time to see a hero's triumphant return like this again after all. Meanwhile, Kuoju wonders if it is safe to bring a goddess here. Layla is afraid all along since she senses someone is grabbing her wings. Just then, someone asks Layla if she is dressing up as a goddess and calls her cute. Afraid, she beats the woman, saying she is the real goddess. Also, checking her wings without her permission is not right. Komari tells Kuju that the heroes are late since it is almost 10, to which he agrees. Just then, a flash appears at the gateway. The people cheer, saying it is a teleportation magic circle. The heroes are returning. But everyone is shocked once they see the heroes coming out of the teleportation circle, all beaten up and wrecked. Worried, Kuju asks everyone to make way and runs to check up on Kyogoku and the rest. The people wonder if the heroes lost. Kuju asks the heroes if any of them are alive. He is relieved a little after realizing that they are all alive. He then asks Anri to call the guards and tell them to bring a medic and some help. He asks Komeri to help him apply some first aid since she has learned a thing or two about it. Concerned, Layla asks what should she do to help them, but Kuju asks her to stay there. Just then, Shinku grabs Kuju from his leg and apologizes, saying they have failed. This makes Kuju angry to see what Gijorg has done to the heroes. Soon, Team A is taken away to be treated. However, after some time, it seems like they all still haven't woken up. According to the head surgeon, their lives are not in danger, but they have been cut off their roots. Layla is shocked and asks why this happened. Even though they had an overwhelming victory yesterday, Kuju realizes that the root is the soul itself. Without it, no matter how much they heal external wounds, they will never regain consciousness. Only Yuki's roots barely survived, but he too is badly injured. He won't be able to talk for a while. A strength so powerful that it can take away the root, but the question is, the one who took their roots, who is it? From what he saw yesterday, that Demon King's strength is no match for Team A, and of course there is no way he could have taken their roots. There must be something more powerful behind his back. He asks Layla if that means they can't expect any help from the academy. Layla apologizes, saying not unless Lady Professio wakes up, she still can't create a gate by herself. Just then, Anri comes in already. Komeri asks what's up with her. Where is she headed? Anri says she is going to fulfill her duty as a hero. Even the heroes from another world, the only hope they had, have been defeated. The entire city is now suffering from anxiety. Someone has to do something soon. Komeri tries to stop Anri, saying it is dangerous. Kuju also agrees with Komeri and asks Anri to stop. Angry, Anri says she can't leave things just as they are, to which Kuju says that is exactly why she shouldn't go just like this. He pours some water for Anri, saying everyone is anxious. At a time like this, the only person they can rely on is her. She has been competing for this world all this time. If she leaves the city, everyone will become even more anxious. Sooner or later, the academy will notice that something is wrong, and then more powerful reinforcements will come to help them. They just have to stay ready and wait. That is the best they can do right now. He offers the water to Anri and asks her to calm down for her own sake and for the sake of those she wants to save. Anri takes the water, drinks it, and leaves. She doesn't like sitting around and waiting. Worried, Komeri asks Anri to stop. Anri turns around and says she is just going to check on the city and asks Komeri to relax and leaves. Worried, Komeri decides to go with Anri, but Kuju stops her. He takes out a silver ring, stating this is just a little good luck charm for peace of mind. But Komeri thinks about it in some other way. She is stunned and says a man is giving her a ring and runs away. Kuju asks her not to think about it so deeply and just go already, while Komeri runs to find Anri and wonders about the ring. Kuju then sits back on the sofa with Layla, while Layla can be seen visibly sad. She rests her head on his lap, making Kuju question if she is okay. Layla says she is okay, it is just she is tired. He looks at her trembling and says she should better get some sleep in bed. But Layla says she is fine here. She says she can't let Kuju be scared. Kuju smiles, saying she can go ahead and sleep as long as she likes. With that, Layla falls asleep right there on the spot. The cat asks Kuju what is he going to do now. Kuju says, as he said earlier, they will wait. But the cat asks if he is going to do that. Kuju makes Layla comfortable on the sofa and asks the cat why he's asking you like that. What else can he do? He says he is going to get some rest since he will be on patrol duty soon. He leaves the room, saying he will get some dinner before that. Outside, Kuju checks up on the heroes who are still asleep. He then goes around the city to see people being scared. Some are praying while the kids are crying. He walks around and finally finds a clear spot. He makes a teleportation circle and goes inside a treasure room. He wonders it's been ages since he last came here. He looks at the main sword and thinks it's been a while. With that, he holds the sword and takes it out of its resting place, which makes a bright flash, and it disappears from his hands. He thinks that this is the only thing he can't seem to hold on to. Just taking it with him is a struggle. As he is about to leave, the cat comes out of nowhere in the form of a beautiful girl. She says, as expected, he is going. Kuju asks if it is too obvious. The girl agrees, asking how many years he thinks they have known each other. She jumps from the wall, asking wasn't Kuju the one who said they should wait. She calls him a liar. Kuju asks if she is going to stop him. The cat says so. He does realize that he is about to do something he shouldn't be doing. She says she has no power to stop him, but she wonders if she cries and begs him not to go, will he stop? Kuju gets shy and says that the question is such a dirty move. The cat embraces him from behind, saying he sure is a lot of fun to tease. She says she is not going to say anything or stop him now, but at least let her be a little selfish to see him off. She asks him to be careful out there. Kuju thanks her and says he will be back soon. The cat asks him not to make a woman wait too long, and with that, Kuju leaves to beat Gijorg and his supporters. Soon he arrives at the Demon King Castle. The Demon Lord Gijorg already knows that he has a new visitor. He is surprised to see just one person. He didn't expect that there was still someone as reckless as Anri. He says that out of respect, let's give his visitor the finest welcome ever. With that, Kuju goes inside the castle, unearthing every demon that comes his way. He realizes that Gijorg's minions are not strong. He doesn't believe that Team A was beaten up by these mooks. Either something has changed with that weak demon lord, or there's a bigger issue other than him. Either way, all he needs to do is reach his magic signature, which he can sense deep inside the castle. Within no time, Kuju reaches Gijorg after busting down a door. The demon lord is waiting for Kuju and says just because Kuju is a hero, it doesn't mean he can bust down someone's door. He asks, isn't that a little rude? Kuju says Gijorg should say that for himself. Didn't someone teach him not to just walk into someone's town and invade it? Gijorg comes down from his chair, stating a demon lord has no morality. They must invade, and every action they take should be chaotic. That is why this little him has no time to spare. He asks someone to do something about Kuju. Kuju looks around to see one more joker. He says as far as he can tell, this guy down here is the last one. He laughs and tells Gijorg that each and every one of them is so useless. Gijorg says he will play with him then and asks what he wants. Kuju takes out his sword and asks Gijorg to come forward. Gijorg says he just did this, so he is not in the mood today, but since he is a nice guy, he will indulge him in a bit of fun. He uses a magic called Velodia Vervolas, and 4 magic circles come out of nowhere. Kuju realizes that this is the same magic circle the Joker used in yesterday's competition. Kuju tells Gijorg that magic can be easily disarmed by just a little bit of inference. He asks the Joker if he didn't beat those guys with this. He asks the Joker to get serious already since someone is waiting for him back home. With that, Kuju makes his finger glow, which the Joker finds interesting. The Joker gets crazy and attempts to use a lot of magic spells at Kuju, but Kuju manages to get through each one of those. The Joker laughs, asking if this is Kuju's unique ability. Confused, Kuju asks the Joker why he knows about it since only the people at the academy should know about it. But the Joker laughs, saying he wonders why he knows that indeed. Maybe the little him here likes to study hard. Kuju says if Gijorg was willing to go that far, then so be it. The Joker laughs, saying as Kuju's wish, he will personally turn him into minced meat. Kuju realizes that Gijorg's power is getting stronger and stronger, and with that, the Joker converts into something else. He shows his full power to Kuju, making him question if this is the Joker's full power. The Joker, Gijorg laughs, asking if Kuju is afraid of him now. He laughs, saying this is only 7% of it. He adds that it is too late to get scared now, because he has already decided to turn Kuju into pieces. But to his surprise, Kuju says as he expected, Gijorg is too weak. This makes the Demon King as he asks Kuju to repeat what he just said. Kuju says he can understand now. He asks if Gijorg is the only demon lord here. He asks if the Joker is not weak just because he is secretly the shadow of the demon lord or something like that, is he? This angers the Demon King, Gijorg. He asks what is wrong with Kuju. He is treating him like a mook. He asks if Kuju is underestimating him. Angered, he says that he is done with playing, and uses his magic to unearth Kuju. But Kuju lets the Joker know that his magical interference won't help him. But the Joker says that with this magic, Kuju will be unearthed in agony. To his surprise, Kuju manages to escape the toxic magic and comes forward to beat the Joker, breaking his nose in an instant. Shocked, the Joker asks how Kuju escaped the magic spell. What kind of trick did he use? Kuju says he didn't do anything. It is just that he has been subjected to this kind of magic tens of thousands of times. His mentor is a Spartan. Get used to it is what they told him. This angers the Joker, and he asks Kuju if he is playing with him. But Kuju says that after taking his aim just now, he is sure of it. As he thought, Gijorg is trash. Angry, Gijorg says he will unearth him. He comes forward to grab Kuju, saying not to play with him. But Kuju dodged the Joker very easily. He uses his special sword to end the Joker. Lastly, he asks Gijorg to tell him to go at hell, she said. After this easy victory, Kuju quickly heads back home. He was careless, he thinks. He should have known better. If there is anything that can defeat a hero from another world who is stronger than a demon lord, then there is only one. Meanwhile, in the city, the guards can be seen lying on the ground, and a stranger is smiling at the lifeless guards while Kuju hopes that everyone is safe. That night, Komari cannot fall asleep. She knows that tonight is Kuju's turn to patrol, but she needs to do something. She gets up to check up on Kuju, but cannot find him anywhere. Just then, Yuki comes out of nowhere, scaring her. She rushes to check up on him, happy to see that he is awake. She asks if it is okay for him to walk. Yuki agrees, saying he is fine. She asks him to wait and decides to wake up the doctor, but Yuki stops her. Kumara soon stands on the corner of the hallway, shocked by what lies in front of her. Many lifeless bodies of soldiers are lying on the floor, making Kumari wonder if it was Yuki behind all this. Yuki looks at her with an evil smile, stating he told her to wait. Trembling with shock, Kumari asks if it can't be possible. Yuka can't be the one who did this. Yuki laughs, saying Kumari is not very perceptive. But this is also what he expects from a dropout hero. The one who beat up those soldiers lying there. The one who cast a strengthening magic on that weak demon lord, but still couldn't win. So instead of the demon lord, he beat up those from Team A. He points at himself, stating it was all him. Komari doesn't get it. She says she doesn't get even a single word Yuki is saying. Yuki says he must have a reason for this. Is it to deceive the demon lord's eyes? He asks if that kind of scenario happens. The villain has a sad past, something like that. But he uses his magic and says it would be nice if that were true but isn't. Yuki uses the air raid magic at Komari and breaks the status behind her. Shocked, Komari asks if the air raid magic belongs to Kyoku. Yuki agrees, saying this is his unique ability. He has the ability of skilled eater. This thing doesn't just copy the other person's powers. It eats the root of its opponent and takes it away. He adds that it took him a long time to learn how to use this thing. When he was just summoned, it was practically powerless. Just when he was steadily gathering abilities from monsters, the guys from the academy showed up, taking away his prey, then treated him like he was some kind of failure. But then he thought to himself, everyone at the academy has got some kind of crazy abilities. That means if he devoured them all, he would be the most powerful person in the world. If he unearths them, he loses the root's power, so he has to keep them alive, which is something he doesn't like. On the other hand, as long as they are alive, he doesn't care how beat up they are. He asks Komari to go ahead and turn herself into a fluid pulp for him and let him eat her. Komari cannot believe that the guy who appears to be so innocent will turn out to be the main villain of the story. She doesn't want to give up and takes out her sword, stating she will stop him. But Yuka laughs, saying, is she going to stop him? He says not to make him laugh. He adds that Komari is weak and uses his eating magic to trap her magic powers. He says that a weak dog like her sure knows how to bark, but before he could do anything, the silver ring Kuju gave her starts to shine. Yuka looks at the ring, wondering what is that ring, but ignores it, saying soon it will belong to him anyway. Yuka uses more power, and at this rate, even the ring cannot completely block it. Yuka asks Komari to just give up already. A talentless person like her should just become fodder for the talented ones. If she knows what he is talking about, he asks her to drop her sword and calls her incompetent. But before Komari could give up, Anri comes from behind Yuka with her sword. However, Yuka dodges the aim. Anki says she couldn't sleep, so she went patrolling. She tells Komari that she doesn't get it completely, but asks Komari if Yuka is the enemy. Yuka calls Anku a local hero and says she isn't invited here. But well, if he is going to make it look like the Demon Lord did this, it might be more convenient if Anri is unearthed. With that, he uses his magic at Anri, but she dodges the magic with magic-imbued sword. Komari is shocked to see this. She thinks even though Anri lacks self-confidence, she is still very strong. Anri tells Yuka that he said incompetent shouldn't put down their swords, but wasn't it he who encouraged her to do so yesterday? He said her sword has kept this kingdom alive. She asks if that was a lie. She questions which one is the real Yuka. Yuka gets angry and uses his power with more strength while saying he just doesn't like being talentless. Anri is shocked to see the magic strength. She tries to compete, but the magic is way too powerful. At last, she gets injured and her sword slips from her hands, and she falls down. Worried, Komari runs to check up on Anri. Yuka laughs and says Anri sent bad as she narrowly deflected his aim. As Komari is trying to wake Anri up, Yuka says this was only a first-level spell, shocking Komari. He looks at her and smiles, saying he likes that look on her face. He adds that there are 17 more to go and asks her to hold out until the end. As he is about to use the magic, he gets a signal and realizes that the Demon Lord is no more. Shocked, he asks who is it, since there shouldn't be anyone in this world who could unearth him. He then asks Komari where's the other guy, Kuju. Komari says Kuju is on patrol. Yuka ignores the thought and says things have changed. He says it is time for both of them to leave the world for good. With that, he uses his magic tempest. Komari realizes that this magic is nothing compared to earlier. Again, she can't do anything. She gets flashbacks of good people protecting her and wonders if she is of no use to anyone. She questioned if she would just leave the world like this. Just then, the cat comes from behind Yuka and his magic disappears. The cat turns back into the human form, stating she is really losing her edge. What a pitiable state she is in. She laughs, saying this is just one more shot. Shocked, Komari asks if she is Kitty. While Yuki asks Kitty who she is, Kitty asks Komari to listen to her. She says she will make an opening and asks her to take Anri and run. With that, she uses magic to make the opening by torturing Yuka. She turns back to cat form and asks Komari to move it since it is not enough to unearth Yuka. Annoyed, Komari realizes that she has been protected again. She takes Anri and leaves the place. Later, she tries to wake Anri up. She asks Anri to hang in there while Kitty treats her. Anri is annoyed, saying all she does is lose. She has done so much, yet she can't beat Gijorg or another hero. And on top of that, she saved her. She calls herself pathetic, which makes Anri cry. She tells Anri that if she hadn't brought her time, back then, she would no longer be here. She says that Anri saved her. To her, she is a hero. With that said, Komari says this is her turn now. She takes off the ring Kuju gave her and makes Anri wear it. She then asks Kitty and Anri to wait here and decides to leave. But Kitty asks Komari not to be foolish. She tells her that he ring is Fabina's favor, a magical item that protects her from all kinds of magic. If she removes herself from its protection, Yuka will unearth her in an instant. But Komari says it is okay since she is not thinking about going to defeat him. There are still a lot of people in this castle. Someone has to tell them to evacuate. Kitty says if that is the case, then she will do that after she is done treating Anri. Even if she runs into that boy, she will manage. But Kumari reminds Kitty that earlier she said just one more shot, which means she can't compete anymore. She leaves saying if a cat goes around telling people to evacuate, it will only confuse them, so she will go. Kitty asks Kumari to just call for evacuation, and don't even think about competing Yuka. Before leaving, Kumari tells Kitty that even if it is too late now, she knows that Kitty can talk like a normal person. She tells Kitty that her voice is adorable. She laughs and asks Kitty not to keep any more secrets from now on. Anri also tells Kitty that her voice is adorable and apologizes for hiding it. Outside, Kumari says Kitty has been hiding things from her too, so they are even. With that, she goes to meet Yuka. Yuka senses her coming and tells her that her magic is too weak. He says she saved him the trouble to go and look for her. Before he heads to the Demon Lord's castle, he wants to at least eat her first. Kumari says it was easy to figure out where he was. After all, he keeps releasing tremendous amounts of magic. Yuka agrees, saying that the weird cat incinerated her. He hasn't used this much regeneration magic in ages. He asks what's with that cat, and wonders if she is the one who unearthed the Demon King. He adds that he wants to eat the cat so bad and asks where is it. He asks if Kumari is not going to tell her. Realizing she is not saying anything, he says he will make her spit out. But Kumari takes out her sword, saying she won't tell him anything. Kumari says she is going to stop him here, but Yuka asks if she is stupid. They had already done this earlier and she lost. Last time, someone from inside the castle helped her. Right now, the castle is covered by his barriers. No help will come from outside the castle. Yuka asks Kumari if she thinks she is a hero if she competes when all the odds are against her. Kumari replies by saying standing up to those odds is what being a hero is. Kumari realizes that no help is coming from outside the castle, and she is the only one inside who can compete with Yuka. Either way, she has no choice but to compete. If there is any chance of winning, it is this unique ability that she has never succeeded in using yet. She remembers Anri saying they are so much alike, and Anri, without a doubt, is a hero. She too wants to be like Anri. With that said, Kumari uses the magic Sautenreika Ichinojin. Yuka smiles, asking Kumari to show what she has got, those so-called possibilities she is talking about.